This conference will now be recorded.
All right, we're going to start lesson 2 of Greek 1. First thing we're going to do is review the alphabet thus far. So I'm going to draw some little lines here to help understand where these letters fall. So the first letter we learned was, anybody?
Here we go.
Alpha.
All right, so alpha. Next one.
Beta.
Beta.
Gamma.
Next.
Gamma.
Gamma. Next.
Delta.
Delta. Then
Epsilon.
epsilon. All right, so that was kind of what I said was the first grouping. The next grouping,
Zeta.
zeta. Then
Theta.
eta. And
Theta.
theta. Something I forgot, there's one other way to make a theta that I didn't teach last week, which is like this. That's in some of the SBL fonts, I noticed that they do that where it's kind of a, you can either go this way and go in, or this way and go out. I still find it easiest just to draw an oval and put a line through it. So does anyone remember from last week, I said technically the way that we pronounce zeta is different than the way we're usually going to. Does anybody remember what I said the proper pronunciation is?
DZ.
DZ. Does anyone know a word where that comes up?
How about baptism?
Yeah. So
Are you just doing a voice call?
I've got it, but I got a blank background.
So this is the word which is I baptize. Baptizo. This becomes relevant because the root baptizo is baptid. So you can kind of see how those two sounds are brought in together in this word because there's two different sounds that are distinctly pronounced in this particular word. We will learn more about that in about 9 months. But it does come up every now and then. Everyone feel comfortable with those first 8 letters?
Yes.
All right. All right. I'm muting everybody for a second. Okay. So anyone know what the next letter would be?
Yoda. Yoda.
Did you say Yoda?
Mhm.
Yoda.
Yeah, so Yoda is the modern pronunciation. The Erasmian pronunciation is closer to E-O-Ta. All right. So an iota looks like an I without a dot. Now, many times iota will get an accent mark, so it ends up looking like it has a dot. For the purposes of your quizzes, iota has no dot. Okay?
Not a data. Got it.
You would think if I would say it like that I'm probably going to put it on the quiz. So, going back to our little paradigm of what I want you to know. Letter, name, sound, and transliteration. All right. So the letter iota, the name, sound. This is another one where it can have a couple of different sounds, and the one that the one I like to use is intrigue, because iota can sound like this I, and it can also sound like this I. So the first one, the I part of intrigue, that is the short sound. And most of the time, whenever you see an iota by itself, that's the sound it's going to make. Intrigue, usually the E long E part is going to be most of the time whenever it's near the end of a syllable. For example, in its name, E, O, A. Okay? That's a syllable. That's a syllable. That's a syllable. Okay? And the transliteration is an I. Any questions on that? Okay. After iota comes kappa.
What is that?
Kappa is spelled like this. And kappa makes the K sound as in kitchen. And your transliteration is
What's that?
okay.
What is that?
You can mute your mic when you're not needing to say something. And then you don't have to whisper.
Okay.
A lot easier than trying to not be recorded to just mute the mic. Then you can for sure not be recorded. So kappa is probably one of the easier letters. The one thing that I want you to notice is a kappa, even though it looks kind of like a big K, it only comes halfway up the line. It's hard to do this on. Yeah.
Are all these Greek letters like the lowercase version of the letter? Are we gonna ever have to know the uppercase letters?
We're going to learn the uppercase letters after we finish. The
Okay,
reason is because in Greek, the only time you use an uppercase letter is for proper names in the beginning of a paragraph. They don't come up that often. So
Okay.
it's whenever we do our first vocabulary words, they're going to be mostly names, and we'll learn most of the capital letters by doing the names of people because they all start with an uppercase. Most of them are pretty easy. So an uppercase Yoda is a big I. Kappa, big K.
Hey, Quint,
So, yeah.
one of the problems we're having is our board at black is killing us. We can't see it. We had to turn the lights off. Now I can't see the right. Can you change your background to a different color?
I got to make a new PowerPoint. Give me a second. Because that's the best color for the recording.
I understand. If it was just lightened up a little bit where we wouldn't have to run the lights off.
Can you see that any better?
Yes, we can see that. But
I'll just use that.
we can't see it with the lights on regardless. That black background is killing us. But we may just have to run it with the lights off.
We'll play with it between now and next week, now that we know that that's wrong.
Yeah. We may have to work on our end.
Okay. Does that show up any better with the lights on?
I don't think we're
Or
going
is
to
it
be.
just not having,
I don't
have
think
enough lumens?
with that black background, we're ever going to be able to color ain't going to matter because when we flip the lights on, we don't have a board.
Okay.
But we'll
I will
work on
try.
that next week.
I'll see if there's anything I can do on my end. The black background is made for these colors that I've got on my iPad. All right. Anyone know what comes after Kappa?
Lambda.
Lambda. Lambda looks like this. What other letters does that look like? If I started this way.
Gamma.
Yeah. So a Greek lambda looks exactly like a Hebrew gimel. Someone once explained to me why. I just found it easier to just memorize it. All right. Wonder. Name. Sound. Transliteration. All right. So the letter lambda is spelled like that. And the sound is the L in law. And the transliteration is L. So the way I do this is I learned Danilian handwriting. So whenever you make this first limb, you kind of do like you would normally do with a Danilian L, except you come out this way instead of straight down, and then you kind of give it a foot to prop up against, a little kickstand. Okay. The next letter is mu. Now, mu kind of looks like a U, but if you get really sloppy with it, you can see it's got the M hidden in there. So mu is the English M sound, as in mom. And the transliteration is M. Any problems with those?
Can you write it again?
So you start down and go straight up, come down, and make a U.
Okay.
Everyone good with that one?
Yes.
Yes. Yeah.
The next letter is one that I was told to always write it this way to help prevent confusion. So the next letter is new. And the way I was taught to do it is small little bar, straight down, and then a curve beside it. Okay, so straight across, down, little curve beside it. Anyone have any idea why you would want to write it like that whenever you're physically writing them out?
I'm guessing it's not to confuse it with perhaps pi, or maybe the tau. I don't know.
Or upsilon.
Yeah, it's primarily to keep it from getting confused with upsilon. So if you have this sharp, straight down mark here, most people are going to know that's supposed to be a nu, and generally an upsilon has got a curve to it.
The upsilon is more like a U anyway, to me.
Yeah, the nu can sort of look like a U if somebody makes this a little bit too much of a curve. So nu is spelled like this. Nu. It's the N sound is in this kind of nu, and the transliteration is in N. All right. Now we get to do my favorite letter to pronounce. All right. You make a loop, another loop, and then finish it off kind of like we did zeta. Anyone know what this letter is called?
E.
P?
Say it again, Ron. C.
Close. It's C.
That's what we said. How come we're forming this letter like that and we're not forming the zeta all squiggly like that?
So zeta has one hump. C has two. Like a camel.
You know what I mean, though? It's inconsistent that we're making, what's this one? C like this and the zeta differently without the little squiggles on it.
The squiggle is only on the C. A zeta is like this. A C is like that. That makes sense?
Yeah. I just thought we were forming it differently.
So, C, like that, and you spell it like this, is the most common way I've seen it spelled. There's different ways. So, the way you make this sound is it's like this sound. C, taxi,
C.
or boxy. Another example. It
Top.
comes kind of as one sound together.
Toxic. Toxic.
That's the Guyanese pronunciation. Toxy. Huh? In Guyana, toxy and boxy rhyme. So the
We have a sheet from Elijah that has the word axiom on it.
yeah. How many times have you used the word axiom in English?
Every day.
No.
That's the reason why I use axiom.
Better.
I'll tell you, actually, the little book that I'm teaching you guys from does have axiom written, but I've never heard any teacher actually say axiom as the best way to remember this. Most people know what a taxi is. Most people know what it means to be boxy. Okay. The transliteration for this is an X. Now, remember that C is X. The reason I point that out, what is this letter?
That's your Chi.
It's chi in math. What is it in Greek?
Key.
Key.
Key. Yeah. So a key looks like an X, but the transliteration for key is CH. So C is X. Everybody got that?
No.
All right. So I'm going to do 2 more letters. Then I'm going to do a little exercise with you guys. What comes after C?
Omicron.
Omicron. Okay, so Omicron is your short O. Now, if you remember back to last week, I talked about how some letters are either or, and some letters are always short or long. This week we've gone over iota, which is long or short. Omicron is always short. Okay? So, and I point that out, that this is in strictly Erasmian pronunciations. The reason that's important is when we start pronouncing certain words that you might already know, if it's an Omicron, it's always going to be short. Like this word. Anybody?
Logos.
Logos. Okay? So if you're using the Erasmian pronunciation, it's Logos. If you're using the modern pronunciation, it's logos. And I explained kind of last week the reason we're doing the Erasmian pronunciations is primarily because it's the one they usually teach at Bible colleges, but also because it helps us with our vocabulary memorization. All right, last one for now. This letter.
P.
What letter is that?
P.
E. Okay,
But pie.
P. So P is spelled this. Pronunciation is
That's where the
E
written
in peach,
goes.
and the transliteration is a P. Okay? So, we've learned 2/3 of the alphabet, and now is a good time to practice. So, there's a fun little book out there called Learn Biblical Greek in 30 Minutes a Day. And it introduced me to this thing that I found really useful in learning what sounds the different letters make. So I'm going to give you guys some words that are English words that have been spelled phonetically with Greek letters. And we're going to let people try to pronounce them. Okay? Stan, can you stick to the board okay?
Me?
Yep.
Yes.
You want to take a stab at how you would pronounce that?
Give me just a second. Let's see. D-A-D.
Yeah. So this is the phonetic spelling of dad. All right. Let's see.
Of course.
Jennifer, you want to give this one a stab?
Jennifer is not with us. She had a meeting at 7:30. She just got us going.
Who else
Yeah.
is in there?
She had a meeting we got Kathy, we got Janet, we got myself and Tony.
I got this one.
Janet, you want to take that one?
I'll take it. Kathy wants it.
Kathy's over here biting at the bits.
Okay.
Is it Mom?
Mom. All right. Dad, you want to take that one?
Oxy? What's that? What letter is that? It's Oxy.
Boxy is an adjective describing something that's shaped like a box.
What's that?
Yeah, I think that last letter was kind of throwing some of us.
Yeah, so we'll get to this a little bit later. We're going to do the rules of pronunciation and the rules of syllabization. So when you're syllabalizing, if an iota comes at the end of a word, or if an iota comes at the end of a syllable, most of the time, not always, but most of the time, it ends up having a long iota sound, which is kind of like a long E in English. So, like our so that's the way you would spell epsilon.
Mm-hmm.
That's where that comes from. Is this is the last letter in the syllable, and that's where you get this idea. Okay.
Okay, so you're on the iotas, you're going to leave off the dot. That's what you told us earlier, right?
Yeah.
There's your answer.
No doubt.
Yeah. So the reason for that is if the accent is here, there would not be anything over the iota. Now, often the last syllable of a word is the accented syllable, especially with nouns. And in that case, you would have it over the top. But that's not because iota has an accent over it. It's because that syllable has an accent over it. Does that make sense?
Yes.
It's clear as mud.
Kathy hasn't got to do one yet?
She's waiting on it.
All right. Kathy, how would you pronounce that one?
K, let's see. It's a K, pie. K. Huh? Cup. Cup.
Cop. Guess I should have given that one to Stan, but
He said he should have given you that one.
All right. Laura, are you awake?
Yes, I am.
All right. How would you say this one?
Let's see.
Yeah.
Would that be dog?
That would be dog.
Nah,
Right?
fun.
Let's see. Who else wants to play?
Janet,
Janet does.
Janet does.
Yeah, I'm just about to see.
Janet does?
Janet does. She's mad because you haven't called on her yet.
Oh, the trees.
All right. Anybody. What would that word be?
What? That's, no. Okay, where am I
The
at?
THE. The.
Oh,
Theta. Theta's your first one.
yeah, that's theta.
Okay,
And
and
the other one is a mute. It's the mutant.
Hey.
I think that's an eta.
That's an eta.
Shorty. Yeah.
So it would be TH
Oh, okay. So you're saying he's having a doctorish.
THE.
D, A,
The,
D,
yeah, I know he.
A.
What sound does eta make?
A.
A short E,
Short E.
like an A. So they can pray.
Epsilon makes a short E.
Well, it makes it more like an A, right?
An
So
A.
They, a dog, they, yeah, like a they.
Says yes and
That's the phonetic spelling of they in Greek.
oh, that's what we're saying. They. I have a question.
Yes.
Your first one was dad. Why did the A make the sound like the A in dad? How are we pronouncing the alpha?
It's in father.
So you could
Yes,
say
so then
God.
it would be God rather than dad. I was confused by that one.
It will depend on the letters around it, and it's mostly for this exercise.
How would and be spelled?
Like that, Roderick.
Oh yeah, I knew that. I forgot.
There's your and in phonic.
Yeah.
Kai is and in the word, but the way he's talking about it.
Yeah.
We're
All
learning.
right. Anyone know this one? That is game.
Yeah, yeah.
Right? Oh, I have not taught you guys that yet. I was going to do this one. Maybe somebody can figure it out without knowing the next letter.
M.
Let me exaggerate that a little bit.
Hey.
Does anyone know what this letter is?
No.
Row.
A row. It's a
That's row.
It's down there.
And what sound does row make?
R. Row. Yeah, row.
An R sound. What would this word be?
Camera?
Camera.
It's what?
Camera.
Camera, okay, camera.
But just remember he's doing it in the phonics side. That's not that.
Yeah.
That's what he's doing.
That's not what that word would be.
right. I'm
There's no point a Greek word for camera.
I didn't think there was.
Anyone want to practice with that one?
And then.
That be them.
Be then.
That's your
TH, thin.
Theme?
thin or
Thin.
theme. Thin.
Then. So in this one, this only has one syllable, and it's not the last syllable. So usually this is going to be the first I in intrigue pronunciation. Usually. Most of the time, we're going to end up memorizing the pronunciation, and that's how you're going to know which one is correct. There is a way to figure out which way it's supposed to be pronounced. It has to do with a lot of etymology and figuring out where the word came from. But most of the time, just knowing that rule is going to be able to teach you which way to pronounce the iota.
Okay, what was that again? I mean.
Talking about this, or what do you say?
Yeah, between the correct pronunciation. He said that normally I would be.
So, Stan?
Yes.
The iota whenever it's at the end of a syllable, is usually pronounced like a long E.
Okay.
It's not at the end of the syllable in this word. It's in the middle,
Okay.
because thin is one syllable. Does that make sense?
It does, yes.
So at the end of the.
This isn't actually a concept in Greek, but in Hebrew, how you have open syllables and closed syllables.
Uh-huh.
Okay, same idea, that a closed syllable iota would be pronounced like a short I in English, and an open iota would be pronounced like a long E.
Okay.
That, if that helps you think about it. Like I said, technically that concept doesn't exist in Greek the same way it does in Hebrew, but it exists in language sort of as a whole anyway.
You just drew that line under the I just for emphasis. That's all it was,
Yes.
right? Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Anyone at the Schaffner household want to take a stab at this one?
We tried, we failed.
Anybody who's not just utter failures want to give it a try?
Lame.
I was gonna say, is it lame?
Lame.
I saw it's done there. I was on to that one. I see Luke was on.
All right.
I was gonna say lame. Hill.
Bill. Okay. Let me see one that I haven't done as many of.
That brings out that short E, that iota, the short E, the short I there, a lot easier for me.
Like you said, it's one syllable, it's closed.
Oh, we haven't done that one.
Get lame out of that top one there.
He's because the lambda long.
Limp.
Yeah, that's where he got it from.
Okay.
Limp. I didn't hear you said that one, but yes, limp.
See, we don't have those. You got to, in Hebrew, you got all those articles, and here we're just gonna have to understand them in this as being there.
Are you talking about the pointing?
Yes, we're crossing barriers.
Greek has actual.
In my mind.
Yeah, Greek has actual vowels.
The lambda
Like
has L sound.
Yes. This is helpful for me. Mm-hmm.
LA as in lame.
Okay, I want to teach you, because this is the only word I can think of where this would work. Anyone know what this letter is?
That's your towel.
The tile.
Tau. Tau is pronounced like
T. Top.
yes, T, as in tall. Transliteration is D. So I can't think of any good words without a tau for this letter.
Exit.
Exit.
Janet says exit.
Janet's right.
Look at you.
All right.
She was looking up at the door when she come up with that, I think.
Oh,
All right. What about this one?
Zap.
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 Yeah.
I actually had that one.
Good, Charlotte.
Finally.
We're only this many into it. Charlotte's already got it down.
Charlotte's got it now. She's ready.
The real question is, has Ralphie had all of them?
I think they had a lot of them.
That's what I figured. All right.
I
Yeah,
guess
Ralph and
Olivia's doing
Sammy-
really well.
Yeah. So Ralphie and Sammy knew this so much better than I did when I was their age. Oh, this is pretty.
Oh, it looked
Ball.
like
That's that one. Ball.
Yeah, that one actually kind of looks like what it is. Not a word. Do a name.
Zelda.
Zelda.
Of course.
Zelda.
I'm trying to think of epsilon words that don't have a tau in them. There's not as many as I thought about whenever I started making these.
About Pokemon.
We haven't learned Omega yet. But it would be like that.
Pokemon.
Okay. Does everyone feel at least reasonably comfortable with knowing a general idea of what sounds they make and roughly what letter equivalent they have in English?
I think so with the first group anyway.
Okay. So we got a couple more that are pretty close to English, and then the last four letters are a little bit different than the ones we normally have in English. Kind of like that other group that we had where it was just a little odd. Let me do these two letters, and then we will. Well, actually, it's 9 o'clock. Let's just call that, and then we'll do the last 8 letters next week, and we'll do this again with all the letters, trying to get a pretty good handle on how to transliterate it into English. Because something you can do with Greek a lot easier than you can do with Hebrew is figure out how you would say it in English and then work backward from that. Any questions about the first 16 letters? Okay.